Our generation, this generation, society as a whole has a big problem, or rather many problems, as a lot of people could tell. Usually when I hear or see someone talk about our generation, it's usually in defense of that this generation is just bad. I see a lot of people associate the term this generation with videos of people cheating on their partner or something that has to do with love. Doing things like bad-mouthing a group of people and using them as if they represent the whole of society. When in reality, you're really just cherry-picking because you believe that love doesn't exist in this world anymore. But the real reason love doesn't exist in your head anymore is because you choose people that showed you red flags from the beginning. We, as people, love to go off what we see on TV and make these false realities in our head about certain things. I mean, there's been countless times for me where I wanted to be Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Franklin Satan, Sonic the Hedgehog, maybe even Anakin Skywalker, but that's not what I meant. For example, I'm pretty sure there's certain people out there who have that desire for a Disney type of love. Some people just want to be Princess Jasmine, finding their true love in a boy with a genie. Maybe other people want to be Ariel, finding her love with a boy she had just laid eyes on while being 16 with an 18-year-old prince. Maybe you just want that Tiana love, kissing a frog, then going on an adventure with him and actually building a connection with the damn prince instead of love at first sight. Honestly, Mulan's and Tiana's relationship is the only one I really respect, and I guess Pocahontas too a bit. I'm still kind of trying to figure that one out as well. Mostly because Pocahontas is my wife, and I don't know how I feel about her and that boy. Also Mulan and Tiana too. They all my wives. People look for those types of loves and just kind of get mad when they don't see it in this generation or in general. Instead of Disney love, you got high school love that turns abusive. Men putting their hands on women. Fathers leaving babies with their mothers. And the worst of all, for some odd reason in this generation, the infamous, horrid, disgusting, not ever so forgivable, well maybe if you're desperate for love, cheating. Also, please do not go in a relationship looking for a Disney love. If anything, let it come natural instead of just forcing it. I remembered in my sophomore year of high school, there was a girl I liked named Demetra, and I told the counselor about her and how I pictured in my mind all these amazing and cute things I would do with her if I was in a relationship with her. She told me, "Sean, you're so cute." Then proceeded to explain to me that if I went into a relationship with all these expectations on what I wanted to do or what I wanted to happen, then I would just break the relationship. Not only is what I imagined not gonna happen, but I'll also just be ruining our love because I'm trying to make it something that I want instead of what we want, if that makes sense. What I'm trying to say is don't try to date someone just because you build certain realities with them in your head. You'll just be trying too hard to make those realities come true to the point where there's no love anymore. This generation is fucked. This generation is lost. This generation is the worst generation to ever exist. I wish I was born in the 90s. I never understood why people said this. Honestly, it just never made sense to me. I mean, the only reason why you say you wanted to be born in the 90s is because of that damn TV show that you watched or that movie you watched about how it could have been in the 90s. You're so obsessed with the 90s that you don't even realize how good you really have it in this time period. You only really say those things because of the false narratives you make in your head about the 90s. Let me show you something. 1990, a place in time where the world was at peace. A time period where you could lay your eyes on someone and just know you'd be together for the rest of your life. A place where technology was upcoming and isn't a problem as it is today. A place where social media doesn't exist. A place that you think you belong. A quiet, peaceful place that you feel like you would be better off in. And yeah, all those things are great, but people who've never lived in this time period give it all this praise for being this magical place that you've never been in. Yeah, those things I've listed are probably true about the 90s, but so is this. Recovery from war. Hate crimes were awful. Matthew Shepard, the gay man who got brutally beaten and was left to die, which was one of the worst anti-gay hate crimes in history. Mental health was weird. Racism was, in my opinion, at its peak. And sure, there are some cool things that came from the 90s like Sonic the Hedgehog and Biggie Smalls. And I get all those things about the 90s experience and love movies are appealing, but people who say this generation, when using it in a bad way, have a big problem that they're not coming to terms with. And that problem is literally anybody is better off in this generation than any other generation that there's ever been. Sure, this odd point in time we're in has its flaws, but from a realistic standpoint, you are better here than anywhere else. Sure, mental health sucks here. Love isn't working out all the time. Kids killing each other for social media clout. Racism is still an active problem. We as the human race are disconnecting with each other every day. Populations are dying. Constant wars between men and women are rising. Our understanding of human nature and opinion is going out the window. Religion is becoming something that it's not supposed to be. And we love to hate each other. We love to tear each other down. We fear war, but we don't have a problem with the ones we start amongst ourselves. There's things that the older generation doesn't like in this generation. A lot of things, actually. One of those things is that it's common for you to find a boy or a man who doesn't know how to switch a tire on a car or just perform basic men necessities. They don't like how a lot of this generation can't take accountability. And when this generation is faced with certain situations like their parents yelling at them, telling them to be accountable, they get mad and upset, and all they do is pull out a phone and record their parents, when in reality, all they want is for you to be accountable for what you've done. They want you to be responsible. Sure, this generation sucks to some people, but in reality, in this generation that you live in right now, you're free. You don't have the same chains that the people on the 90s had on them. You're free to be gay. You're free to have a voice. You're free to fight for what's right. You're free to be yourself. You're free to so many opportunities people from the 90s wish they could have. This generation, yeah, it's weird. It's off. It's still filled with hurt and hate, but it's also the best place you could ever be in at any point of time in history. This is the place where some people back then just daydreamed of. So please, stop saying all that bad shit about our generation. It's starting to piss me off.
Today we found out that I'm 2 weeks pregnant, and I called Google and made him come home. And I bought the balloons and the cake to give him a hint. You think he's gonna get it?
But I better show your figure because that's the last time you're gonna see it.
This is how thin I am now. I'm 2 weeks pregnant. Let's see what I look like after the baby. Let's see what's born around October. So
Oh, how pretty! You happy, Hugo? Take a little.
He gave Blanca a hard time. Oh, did he?
He gave you a hard time too.
Ooh, I feed him.